Hello and welcome to Sportsbet.io's Euro podcast. This is our Bundesliga version, but don't forget to check out the Clubhouse TV YouTube channel for our La Liga and Serie A versions as well. Joining us as always in Germany is our good friend Tofik Khalil. Hello, how are you?
Good morning. Yeah, very well. Good.
This is another interesting week in what is a wildly difficult to call Bundesliga season. We're going to start with Union Berlin against Freiburg. Freiburg obviously a little bit disappointing last time around. And while Union themselves have had some bad results recently, at the Fusterei at home, they're doing very, very well.
Well, absolutely, that's right. And when they played at Munich, they played their style. They tried to get out of Munich last week without getting too many goals. So far, they only conceded 5 in the whole season, and then Bayern Munich gave them 3. Well, to be honest, they had their chances. Everybody has their chances against Bayern Munich. That comes from the offensive style Bayern Munich is playing, but Berlin is totally weak in the offense. They were, when they came to Munich, on the 4th position. I don't see them with that much quality in the Bundesliga because you cannot gain a Champions League spot without playing any kind of offensive football. So far, they scored 9 times in the whole season. Harry Kane scored 11 times. So, yeah, Harry is +2 if you compare him with Union Berlin. And it's that's the problem. So, yeah, against Freiburg, they need to score because Freiburg knows very well the defensive play as well. But on the other side, Freiburg with Grifo and all these guys showed how strong they can be. The season of Freiburg, as we already said it several times, it's unpredictable because after a long time with Christian Streich, they have a new coach. So that might be the reason why sometimes they look a little unstable, but sometimes they look very strong. And the thing is, Berlin is they call themselves the Eisernen, which means the iron team. And this is, I think, especially the call for the defense. That's an iron defense. Yeah. You have to break that iron curtain they have in front of their goal. But when you can score against Union Berlin, you almost win safe because Berlin is not a good scoring team.
Yeah, going forward, it's obviously a lot more difficult. And as you've said, we've been very complimentary of Freiburg in recent weeks. But obviously, coming into it, there's no shame in a 3-1 loss at Leipzig. There's just no shame in that whatsoever.
Leipzig, come on, it's the second.
Yeah. I mean,
for me, this game is it's an absolutely draw. It's an 1-1 or something like that. Yeah, it could only be a 1. It can only be a 1-1 because Union Berlin will not score more than once.
Well, we will see, won't we? We'll move on to what we're going to call the Jurgen Klopp derby, albeit perhaps two sides who are a bit grumpy with him these days after his choices post-Liverpool. We have got a home side in Mainz who haven't won in the Bundesliga so far this season, taking on a Borussia Dortmund side who actually, and this surprised me, haven't won away yet.
Well, Dortmund is still the magic box of the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
They sometimes they really play so bad, and then on the other side, everybody say, "Hey, come on, Nuri Sahin, kick him out. He cannot be the coach anymore." They lost 3 in a row. Well, and then last week they beat Leipzig. Come on, what's going on? Last night in the Champions League, Tuesday night they beat Sturm Graz. By a lucky one at the end of the match. It was not a very great match. Graz did well. Graz had their chances. But Dortmund won the match. So now with 2 wins in a row, Sahin is much safer than he was a week ago. So this victory against Leipzig was very important for Nuri Sahin. And now comes Mainz. Mainz lost big to Bayern in the cup, but then they draw in Freiburg. It's the pressure. The pressure is on both teams because down there in the Bundesliga bottom. It's very close. You are very close going down to the relegation spots. On the other side, Borussia Dortmund on fifth is already 7 behind Bayern. This is not what they had in mind when they were thinking about the Bundesliga table mid-November. So
No.
if they don't, and I'm pretty sure when we talk about Bayern Munich's match, that Bayern Munich will go there for another 3 points. So Dortmund know what the others doing. And they know that they have to win in Mainz. And as you said, on away fields, not very good so far.
No, I mean, I suppose if we're being kind to Borussia Dortmund, we have to be very kind. They're only 4 points off second, so there is that as well. As much as there is that gap to Bayern, obviously they're not a million miles away from at least second, and that win over Leipzig has obviously drawn them closer to that. So there are little positives, but like you say, I mean, a bizarre, bonkers, difficult game to work out because, well, Dortmund on the road, Dortmund generally, Mainz not great at home. It's a bizarre game. We'll move on to Bochum Leverkusen now. Obviously, we'd said for a number of weeks Leverkusen were not playing brilliantly. They were sort of struggling. That first 45 against Liverpool, I felt they generally held their own. There could have been an argument they shouldn't have had a goal chalked off. You want to play Bochum if you buy a Leverkusen at this point, don't you?
Well, Bochum has a new coach, and everybody knows what's going on when a team, even with only 1 point so far in the Bundesliga, has a new coach. It's another momentum. The momentum is on Bochum's side. It's an incredible audience. It's one of the best audiences in the whole Bundesliga. The stadium is a wreck, but it's a beautiful wreck. It's fantastic. It's loud. It's wild. I love it. This is the real. This is like Aston Villa. Yeah,
right.
This is the stadium is very much like Aston Villa. Very close, very tiny, very loud, rude audience. I like that. I like when Bayern Munich played in Aston Villa, and I like these matches at Bochum. But as I said, new coach Dieter Hecking, very experienced guy. His first words were very clear. He said, "I don't." Or say it in other words, I give a shit on team building.
I'll just find the beep. I'll find the beeper on the edit afterwards.
He's not finding. I don't think he's that guy who's going there out with the guys and say, "Come on, we all need to have a nice dinner together and sit there and discuss what's going on." No, he said, "Go out on the pitch, guys, and play your heart out and then you will be successful." I think this is, and it's a tough one for Leverkusen because 4 draws in the last 5 for Bayer Leverkusen. Pressure is now on Leverkusen, 7 behind Bayern. And Leverkusen is playing to defend their title. And come on, 7 behind Bayern that early in the season. If they don't win that in Bochum, say they draw, and once again, I come to Bayern where they play. I'm pretty sure we talk about that soon. That's 3 points for me with Bayern. So they know that. Like Dortmund knows what Bayern is doing for the weekend because they look very good, Bayern Munich. So they know that they have to show their best in Bochum. And the self-confidence after you get smashed like that in Liverpool, you are tired, your legs are sore, the opponent is not playing beautiful football, the pitch is not very good. And you know, this technical, excellent teams, they always dream of a good pitch because the ball can move. And for this teams from the bottom, it's better to, like Mainz tried against Bayern Munich, throw a lot of sand on the pitch that the ball is not so fast. And but it didn't work. But Bochum, if they play their heart out, they will definitely, I'm sure, have a good chance to gain their 2nd point of the season.
Well, yeah, Leverkusen do need to find something. It does feel like after being so high last year, they've had a little bit further to drop, and they're just struggling to find that confidence a little bit at the moment. It certainly feels like a side who are still very talented, amazing players, but they just can't quite find the rhythm and the snap they had last year. We will move on to the Milan tour and St. Pauli against Bayern Munich. St. Pauli off the back of a really big win for them. They won away at Hoffenheim 2-0. But Bayern Munich, obviously we're recording this on Wednesday morning. They've got Benfica Wednesday evening. But even with Benfica Wednesday evening, Torsten, you've alluded to it several times, we're expecting a very comfortable Bayern win here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the way how they look. Well, as we said in the beginning of this year, the Bundesliga is full of surprises this season. You call me on Sunday and tell me, hey, this surprise you didn't have on your list. No, then I say, yeah, definitely not. For me, it would be a major surprise. A
Yeah.
big sensation for the weekend if Bayern Munich would not win at St. Pauli, because it is the way how Bayern Munich is playing. And St. Pauli will play very defensive, and Bayern Munich will push so much forward and put so much pressure on the defense that somewhen the ball will fall into the goal, I'm pretty sure. And they know that they have to score right now, that they have to bring their points, because the next weeks after the international break will be very tough for Bayern Munich. They have three big ones in 1 week. Champions League against, well, first they start in the derby against Augsburg. Then it's Champions League against Paris Saint-Germain. Then it's Borussia Dortmund in the Bundesliga. And then it's Bayer Leverkusen in the German Cup.
Wow.
So that sounds like 4 interesting matches in within 11 days. Yeah, and so they know that they have to take as much out of these matches as possible. They play on a very high level of concentration, and all the players you throw in, if it's Olise on the right wing, or if it's Sané on the right wing, and it's Coman on the left wing, or whoever you throw in, these players know that they have a coach who has the choice. He can make the choice. And if he sees something which is not good, kick him out, bring in another one and everybody wants to qualify for the big matches against Paris, against Dortmund, against Leverkusen. So you want to show your best at St. Pauli. And for that reason, I am pretty sure we'll see 2-3 goals by Bayern.
Well, I mean, I know it's a long time ago, but the last time that Bayern Munich went to St. Pauli, back in 2011, I think it was an 8-1 victory for Bayern Munich. A long time ago, but the likes of Ribéry, Robben, Gomez all on the score sheet that day. So it's been a long time, because obviously St. Pauli have been down at Bundesliga Zwei for a long period as well.
But there's a very, very beautiful story. It is when Bayern Munich in 2001 won the Champions League, and they won the World Team Trophy at that year. So they were Weltpokalsieger, which means the World Club Cup champion. They went to St. Pauli. St. Pauli beat them. St. Pauli was really low level. And after that match, St. Pauli made T-shirts. Very smart marketing idea, and they consider themselves as the Weltpokalsieger, so the World Club champion. They defeated the and this shirt was all over the Bundesliga. It was sold. So they call themselves the Weltpokalsieger, which is a very funny word in Germany.
Well, St. Pauli's fan base is obviously a fascinating thing we could talk about for a very long time anyway. But I was in London the other day, and in fact yesterday up in the north where we're based recording this, I've still seen St. Pauli stickers. I don't know how they do it, but there is St. Pauli stickers in London, loads of patches of London. I've seen it in Leeds, I've seen it in Manchester. It's a really interesting fan base, which we don't have time to discuss, but I'd love to one day, because they absolutely fascinate me, St. Pauli. We'll finish with Leipzig against Borussia Mönchengladbach. I mean, Gladbach are a side who historically don't travel brilliantly, haven't travelled well on, haven't been good on the road for years on the whole. And after a bad week, I mean, let's not forget, not just that loss to Borussia Dortmund, but also beaten at Celtic Park as well, Leipzig in the Champions League. They're going to need to improve quite a bit here, aren't they?
Definitely, and I have that match on my list because I know how much you go with Mönchengladbach. This is your favorite team in the Bundesliga.
It is.
Even if they play very bad the week before, you pick Mönchengladbach, and I understand, because this is a team with a lot of tradition. This is a very traditional club with a huge fan base all over Germany. Comes from the 70s when there was Bayern Munich, and then Bayern Munich was followed by Borussia Mönchengladbach with all that Günther Netzer, things like that, and still a lot of fans, still a big name. They have a new stadium since some years with a lot of fans. It's beautiful there. I was there once. It's fantastic. And when they travel with a lot of fans. Leipzig, a young club, almost no fans, not in the way like
No.
Mönchengladbach has. So a lot of fans in Germany press their thumbs like you do for Mönchengladbach. And as you said, Leipzig, well, they definitely 3 behind Bayern now. If they don't open that gap too much, they have to win that match. They have to forget what happened in the Champions League. I think Leipzig is almost on a spot in the Champions League where you just have to make your decision and say, okay, let's stick with the cup. Let's stick with the Bundesliga. Forget about the Champions League. 4 matches. You lost 4 times. How much energy you want to waste there anymore? So I'm pretty sure that Leipzig will focus Marco Rose very much on that match because he knows there is a chance for his team to gain something big this season, and you need to beat Mönchengladbach.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Gladbach, I really like the wing backs, Scally and Luka Netz as well. Netz in particular, I'm a huge fan of. It wouldn't surprise me to see him at a place like Leipzig, actually, Luka Netz. So there is real talent in that Gladbach side, but just historically on the road, for whatever reason, they remind me a bit of Sevilla in Spain, where Sevilla, up until maybe last season, brilliant to the Pishwan, appalling on the road. And Gladbach have got that kind of balance as well, where you get them at home, they're a tough team. They do look a lot weaker on their travels, don't they?
Absolutely. Gerardo Seoane, the coach, is still looking for something which might solve that. But it is, as you said, it's where they are on 9th position, which says perfectly that they're doing well at home.
Yeah.
And not too much success on the road. I don't know. Well, that's the difference between a very good team and an average team.
Yeah.
A very good team like Bayern Munich can play away and home very well, and an average team is failing here or there. And I don't know why why they have problems. It must be in their minds, because if you can win at home, why travel and then don't play very well? I don't see that. Is it do you really need your fans that much and you can play such great football? Are you braver at home? If that's the problem, then at least they know where they can work.
Is it just in your head as well? I mean, I think my love of Mönchengladbach came from sort of half falling in love with Marco Reus, actually, in his period there, in his time there, and how good he was. And then I was like, I actually quite like this team. And then I started to look at it, and I was like, well, actually, they're really frustrating and I'm really annoyed by them, but then they're brilliant. My history with Mönchengladbach probably goes before Reus, but that was kind of my full in, where I was like, I love this guy.
Every week, Mönchengladbach. I know in 2 weeks we will talk about Mönchengladbach.
Hey, and we'll be glad of it as well. Tofik, thank you so much as always for your fantastic expertise. Tofik's off to do a big game in the Champions League this week as well. Don't forget to keep an eye on all of the videos on the Clubhouse TV YouTube channel, and do make sure you gamble responsibly at all times.